Okay, so you're doing your assignment today, which is a school city assignment, but you're going to do it through the Edpuzzle. And it's on conversions and then geometry. All right, so let's look. Number 1. It says, this Venn diagram shows the relationship between some types of triangles. Which triangle belongs in the intersection of acute triangles and isosceles? So we're looking for what's going to go in the middle. All right, so look at your choices. It's got to be an isosceles and acute triangles. Okay, so the answer for this one is J, because it is both isosceles and acute. Okay, isosceles means it has at least 2 sides that are the same, and acute means all 3 angles are less than 90 degrees. So this would be an isosceles acute triangle. All right, number 2. Quadrilaterals can be classified using the graphic organizer shown. Which term best classifies the shape that belongs in the shaded section of the organizer? This one should be easy. All right, the answer is A, parallelogram. Okay, think about the diagram that we drew at the beginning of the year. Or the beginning of geometry. All right, number 3. Lakin drew the figure below. So there's the figure. All right, which line segments intersect each other but do not appear to be perpendicular? So look at each intersection, each line segment. UV and VW. Do they intersect but are not perpendicular? WX and TZ, WX and XY, UV and XY. Which line segments intersect each other but do not appear to be perpendicular? Okay, so the answer on this one is going to be A, because UV and VW are intersecting, but they are not perpendicular. Remember, if it's perpendicular, it would make a right angle. WX, which is here, and TZ are actually parallel. So that's not it. WX and XY are perpendicular. They make a right angle. WX, XY. And then UV, which is this line right here, and XY, which are here, would also be parallel. Okay. All right, next question. Number 4. Rachel classified shapes based on the types of angles they had. The table shows her classification. Which shape does not classify correctly? Which one is not classified correctly? Okay, the one that is not classified correctly is shape 4. Okay, right angles only, right, and right, all right angles. Acute angles only. These all 3 are acute, but on this, these 2 are acute, these 2 are obtuse. Obtuse angles only, all of these angles here are obtuse. Acute and obtuse, these are acute, these are obtuse. These are obtuse, and these are acute. Okay, so your answer was F. All right, number 5. In which table are the check marks placed in all the correct boxes? So look at A and B, and then I'm going to move it up. And then there's C and D. Okay, in which box, in which model, I guess, are they all in the correct boxes? Okay, your answer should have been B. Okay, a circle is not a polygon, so that one should have been out. Okay, here, a square is a quadrilateral, but it's also a rhombus and a polygon, so that one should have been out. A square, this one doesn't have anything marked, so that one should be out. Okay, a square is a quadrilateral. It's also a rhombus, and it's also a polygon. A triangle is a polygon, Remember, a polygon is a closed plane figure with 3 or more sides. A rectangle is a quadrilateral and a polygon. All right, number 6. This one should be easy. In the diagram shown, each circle represents a group of polygons. If a polygon belongs in a circle, it also belongs in a larger circle. What kind of polygon belongs in the shaded circle that's right here in the middle? Which polygon would belong in that circle? Okay, you should have said square, because a square belongs in the middle. Remember, a square can be a rectangle, a parallelogram, and a quadrilateral. All right. Number 7. This graphic organizer is being used to classify triangles based on their angle measures or side lengths, which lists all of the ways this triangle could be classified. Okay, the answer was D. All right, so it's an equilateral triangle because all the sides are the same. It is an isosceles triangle because at least 2 sides are the same. Remember, if it's equilateral, it's also isosceles. Okay, and then it is acute triangle because all of your angles are less than 90 degrees. So it is an acute, isosceles, equilateral triangle. All right, number 8. The Venn diagram is being used to classify 2 types of quadrilaterals. Which type of figure will always be in the shaded section of the Venn diagram? That's right here. What's going to go in that middle, what they share, the joint. Okay, again, it's square. Okay, the square goes in the middle. Okay, so remember, a square can be a rectangle and a square can be a rhombus. All right, number 9. A student used the graphic organizer to classify different figures. Which figures belong in the part of the organizer labeled isosceles triangle? So which one of these is going to go in here? Which one is going to be classified isosceles? All right, you should have picked J. Figure 2, it's an equilateral, which means it's also isosceles because at least 2 sides are the same. Figure 4, this one shows 2 sides that are the same. And figure 5, because this one shows 2 sides the same. So it's isosceles. Equilateral is also isosceles. All right, number 10. Akshar is making a mobile that lists quadrilaterals. What is the name of the subset of quadrilaterals missing from the mobile? So what's missing from here? Okay, the answer is C, parallelogram. So, and this is the model that we drew at the beginning of the year, or beginning of the model. Quadrilaterals. A quadrilateral is a trapezoid, parallelogram, rectangle, rhombus, square. Remember, it flows upwards, so a square can be a rectangle, a square can be a rhombus. A rectangle is also a parallelogram and a quadrilateral. A rhombus is also a parallelogram and a quadrilateral, and they are all polygons. So a square can be a square, rectangle, rhombus, parallelogram, quadrilateral. Okay, a rectangle is a rectangle, parallelogram, quadrilateral. Rhombus, parallelogram, quadrilateral. Parallelograms are also quadrilaterals. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral. And they are all polygons. Okay, they are all classified as polygons. All right, conversions. Fabio drinks 2 quarts of water each day. How many cups of water does Fabio drink each day? All right, this is where you would draw your gallon man. Remember, you got the big G. And if you are on STAR test, you would find this by going to your formula chart. So 1 gallon. Inside of a gallon, you have 4 quarts. Each quart has 2 pints. And this is where you would find this on your formula chart, and it would say exactly what I'm saying. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. 1 quart equals 2 pints. 1 pint equals 2 cups. And then each cup equals 8 ounces. So then you would put an 8 inside each one. All right, it says Fabio drinks 2 quarts. So here's 2 quarts right here. How many cups? Well, all you have to do is count them. So how many cups would that be? Your answer should be 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. All right, number 12. All right. The length of 2 insects are given below. The ladybug is 10 millimeters. The walking stick is 30 centimeters. What is the difference in length of these 2 insects in millimeters? So it's telling you what it wants you to measure. All right, so this is metric. And remember, when you do metric conversions, we use the Z-chart. So the Z-chart should look like this. This arrow is pointing to the left, and this one's pointing to the right. It has 7 steps. 1, 2, 3, and the big step. 4, 5, 6. Do you remember the saying that it should be to label each one of these steps? Okay. King Henry danced, moving like a girl, down Central Main. Some of you said King Henry died drinking chocolate milk, but do not forget meters, liters, and grams goes in that middle step. All right, so you're converting one of these. All right, so which one are you going to have to convert? And then you're going to find the difference. What would your answer be? Okay, you should have picked 290 because you're going from 30 centimeters. Okay, 30 is 30 with a decimal behind it. And we're going from centimeters to millimeters. So you're taking one step down. And so you're going down to the right. So I'm going to take this decimal and I'm going to move it one place to the right. So it's 300 millimeters. So the ladybug is 10 millimeters. The walking stick is 300 millimeters. Now you subtract. 300 minus 10 is 290. All right. The length of one wall in Miss Shelby's classroom is 29 feet. What is the length of the wall in inches? Well, again, you would look at your conversions chart, and it would tell you that 1 foot equals 12 inches. So I know that the wall is 29 feet, and all my answer choices are in inches, so I'm going from feet to inches. Remember, when you go big to small, you multiply. Small to big, you divide. All right, so you went big to small because you're going feet to inches. So we're going to multiply. And there's 12 inches in a foot, so we multiply by 12. 29 times 12. All right, 9 times 2 is 18. 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Tic-tac-o. 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 2 is 2. And then we're going to add. 8 plus 0 is 8. 9 plus 5 is 14. And 2 plus 1 is 3. The answer was F, 348 inches. All right. Kristen drinks 5/10 liters of orange juice each day for 15 days. How many milliliters of orange juice does Kristen drink during the 15 days? All right, so you can work this one of two ways. You can convert 15/10 from liters to milliliters, and then solve, or you can leave it and solve it and then convert. So she drinks 5/10 liters each day for 15 days. How many milliliters would that be? And so there's your conversion chart. Hopefully you have that drawn already. Okay, 5/10 liters each day for 15 days. What's your answer? All right, so if you say 15 days and she drinks 5/10 liters, 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 2 is 7. The decimal is one place. So that's 7.5 liters. And I want to know how many milliliters she's going to drink. So I'm going to write 7.5 down here. Okay, because I already have a decimal, I don't need to add one. I look at my chart, I'm going from liters to milliliters. That's 1, 2, 3 steps down. So I'm going to move that decimal to the right. 3 places. 1, 2, 3 places. So here's the decimal. I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3. And now there's my decimal. Fill in the holes with 0. That's 7,500 milliliters. Okay, so your answer was B. All right. Final question. It's another geometry question. Nathan built the hanging mobile shown in the picture to show some relationships among the shapes. Which shape goes in the empty box in order to complete Nathan's mobile? Okay, you should have put rhombus. The answer was C. Rhombus. Okay, some of the most missed questions from yesterday's assignment were the ones that I'm fixing to go over. This first one says, Edgar built a deck in his backyard with a section in the shape of a rectangle and a section in the shape of a square. The model shows the dimensions of his deck in feet. What is the area in square feet of the deck that Edgar built? Okay, he built 2 sections. He built a part that was a rectangle and a part that was a square. So all you had to do was find the area, which is length times width, of this one, 16 times 8, and this one, 8 times 8. And then add the 2 numbers together. I got some crazy answers. 6 times 8 is 48. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 4, 128. 8 times 8 is 64. So 128 plus 64. 8 plus 4 is 12. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 1 is 9. And 192 feet squared. Okay, draw that little divider to show that those are 2 separate pictures. Okay, it's an irregular figure, but when you draw that little line there, it makes it 2 regular figures. Okay, Phoebe divided her rectangular vegetable garden into 3 sections as shown in the drawing below. The potato section is a square with a side length of 7 meters, which means all sides are exactly the same. Okay, the carrot section is a square with a side length of 5 meters, which means all sides are the same. What is the area, length times width, in square meters of the corn section? Well, if this whole thing is 7, and this from here to here is 5, what's left over? 2. So what should the area be? 10. 5 times 2 equals 10. Because the whole thing is 7, this part is 5, which means you have 2 feet left over for the corn. Those 2 were some of the most missed questions. The next most missed question, because you didn't pay attention, is this one. It says a rectangular billboard is 9 3/35 meters wide, 6 82 meters tall. What is the perimeter of the billboard in meters? Okay, some of you just added 9 3/35 and 6 82. Last I checked, a rectangular billboard looks like that. And if this is 9.35, then this is 9.35. Take that extra second and draw the picture. And if this is 6.82, this is 6.82. So now, what would the perimeter be? You should have added all the four sides together, and you should have gotten 32.34. You could have said 9.35 times 2, 6.82 times 2, and then added the two numbers together. Or you could have just added them all. Gabriel bought a dog crate shaped like a rectangular prism with the dimensions shown in the model. What is the area in square inches of the shaded floor of the dog crate? Floor. This is the floor of the dog crate right here, guys. Okay, this is the length. This is the width. This is how tall it is. So if I'm looking at the floor and I'm only looking at area, I don't need that information. So what would the area of the of the floor be? Okay, you should have done 36 times 24. 6 times 4 is 24. 4 times 3 is 12. Plus 2 is 14. Tick, tack, oh. 6 times 2 is 12. 3 times 2 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. 4, 6, 8. Should have been 864 square inches. Okay. All right, the next one. Oh, I don't know why y'all missed this one. Y'all didn't pay attention. The four figures shown are rectangular prisms made of unit cubes. Which figures have a volume of 12 cubic units? All you do is count the squares. Okay, so 2, 3, 2. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 1, 4, 3. 1 times 4 is 4. 4 times 3 is 12. 2, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So that one's out. 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. Figures 1, 2, and 4. Should have been H. A mechanic repaired 28 cars and 46 trucks last month. He spent 2 hours repairing each of the vehicles. Which equation can be used to find H, the total number of hours? Remember, when you do these, you do them in order. 28 cars and 46 trucks. So that's what he repaired. He spent 2 hours repairing each of those. So you're going to add up how many he worked on and multiply it by 2. 28 cars, 46 trucks, total that, times 2 hours. The answer should have been H. All right, so make sure that you are moving on to your Google Forms when you finish this. And guys, you should be able to have gotten this all done.